really been knocking it out of the park lately, and this is going to be no different, everybody. So sit back, put your arms and legs in the vehicle, and don't let them out, or you might rip them off or something. So let's bring
Yeah.
let's bring on our guest right now. He is a guy who has shaped the Lincoln scene. This is what we've been talking to you guys about. The Lincoln scene has been so great for so many years. And for those of you who are doubters, when you listen to this episode, you're going to realize that the Lincoln scene of music has been great for a long time. And this guy has a lot to do with it. He was in Four Against, he was in the Millions. He is a fantastic human being. Let's talk to him right now. Harry Dingman, how are you?
Doing good. Thanks for having me on.
Of course, man. I as a local musician here am pumped to talk to a guy like yourself because I think that guys like you shaped the scene for us when I was in the 90's, early 2000s, what picking up
Mhm.
instruments for the first time and wanting to play out. I think that guys like you are the reason why people like us and our kids are now playing in the scene. So I think you had a huge part of it. So my first question to you is because you were in Four Against, we don't necessarily. I know you were in the Millions, and I want to talk about them too.
Yeah, right.
But for the Millions, I mean, Richard was a fan back. I mean, Richard has never missed a show. I don't
Nope,
think, right?
fanboy, total geek.
Right.
Yep.
So, what was it like for you coming up in that scene? Because I know that Randy was kind of loosely a part of that scene, or maybe just missed your earliest days. What was it like coming up in those times?
That's a good question. We wanted to play places, and I was in this band called the Cartoon Pupils in high school, and it was before Four Against, and this is like in probably about 1981, 82, around that era. And we literally practiced on Taylor Park. We had a house. One of the drummer and the bass player lived in there with parents, and we had a sliding glass door, and we'd take the equipment out into the park and just set up and play. Some like two little kids would come up and watch, and we are like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then we got asked to play like a keg party at East High. And, before that, we really didn't do that much. And it's like we show up in somebody's garage set up, and they're like, we told them we don't do covers. We play more of our original music, but a lot of East High people went and they thought it was cool. And we, maybe played some Joy Division songs. And then we're getting asked to play all these parties. And then some of the other people from East High are like, hey, you guys could use a singer. And, we had a singer that kind of worked and with us and then didn't. So we got Steve Canny to sing, and he knew a lot of people. So we are instantly popular and playing more places. Then the band, The Click, came to one of the parties, and they were like, you guys are great. Do you want to play with us at the drumstick? And we were like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. And I remember being up there playing. The stage was really loud. We got to use their equipment, and we felt really good about that. So it was fun. I thought the Click were amazing, and just to share that stage with them was cool. So they were kind of like our idols. We wanted to be like them.
Well, we just talked to Kathy Lohmeyer from the Drumstick. She's part of the Lohmeyer family.
Right.
As we're remembering the Drumstick, I'm going through posters and pictures and flyers, and I see Four Against in some of those, and I was just like, Randy and I talk about this all the time, and I know Randy's going to want to jump in here real quick. Is the full circle moments that we have on this show where we start talking to one person, and Lincoln's the biggest small town in the world, right? And so all
Right.
the synchronicities and the universe aligning and all this starts to happen. And so you guys played at the Drumstick, and it was a legendary place. I mean, there's some massive bands that went through there, and I would say that you guys were part of that. But what was it like for you playing at the Drumstick? I mean, aside from it being too loud, when you think about it now.
That's a great question. Also, we saw REM there early on and stood out in the parking lot by the door. Michael Stipe came and stood by us. That was cool. And talked to Peter Buck. Then they all came to a party that some friends were having afterwards. So we got to hang out with them. So the Drumstick was a cool place. I was younger, so I really didn't get in the door that much, but we'd call Tim Lohmeyer up and ask if we could, play or open. We opened for like Lords of the New Church and 10,000 Maniacs. And all those shows were really cool. So we were influenced by those bands and, their equipment, what was going on. The drumstick was an interesting place because um, we didn't necessarily like it, but it was a cool place to play. And, we didn't really make any money. It wasn't about the money. It was just having that cool experience. So